Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and request to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Today Maharaj is not available, so we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Radha Vinodini Mataji. Mataji is going to enlighten us with the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as we are continuing the series of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 11th chapter, today's verse is verse number 20. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances and request to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for your time and association for all of us today. So you can take over, Mataji. So will you share the screen, right, Mataji?
Yes. So first of all, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Guru Maharaj. We will read from Srimad Bhagavatam. Just one moment. Okay, so we will continue with Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 11. The title of the chapter is Creation. No, it's the canto, sorry. Okay, so verse number 20 will be today. Natanartaka Gandharva Suttamagada Vandinaha Gayanti Chottama Shloka Charitani Adbhutani Cha. Srila Prabhupada's translation. Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus they proceeded on and on. Srila Prabhupada's purport. It appears that 5,000 years ago, the society also needed the services of the dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, this is not an easy word, public speakers, etc. Dancers, singers, and dramatic artists mostly hailed from the Shudra community, whereas the learned historians, genealogists, and public speakers hailed from the Brahmana community. All of them belonged to a particular caste, and they became so trained in their respective families. Such dramatists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and public speakers would dwell on the subject of the Lord's superhuman activities in different ages and millenniums, and not on ordinary events. Nor were they in chronological order. All the Puranas are historical facts described only in relation with the Supreme Lord in different ages and as on different planets also. Therefore, we do not find any chronological order. The modern historians, therefore, cannot catch up the link, and thus they unauthoritatively remark that the Puranas are all imaginary stories only. Even 100 years ago in India, all dramatic performances were centered around the superhuman activities of the Supreme Lord. The common people would be verily entertained by the performances of dramas, and yatra parties played wonderfully on the superhuman activities of the Lord, and thus even the illiterate agriculturist would be a participant in the knowledge of the Vedic literature, despite a considerable lack of academic qualifications. Therefore, expert players in drama, dancers, singers, speakers, etc., are required for the spiritual enlightenment of the common man. The genealogists would give account completely of the descendants of a particular family. Even at the present moment, the guides in the pilgrimage sites of India submit a complete account of genealogical tables before a newcomer. This wonderful act sometimes attracts more customers to receive such important information. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Hena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Guravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyadine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Candramauli Swami Niti Namine. So when I read this this verse, immediately I started to like it very much because it's about very enjoyable topics. Watching dramas and listening to music and stuff like that, which is quite comfortable and enjoyable to the senses. And it immediately reminded me on something which I've heard in one class from Shubha Vilas Prabhu. And maybe many of you know about him, that he's the author of one Ramayana series of books. I don't know, 5 or 6 volumes of them. And in one of his classes, he spoke about that, in these modern times, it's people very much like these movies about superheroes. Especially in the last few years, so many of them came out, and somehow there is no end to them. It means that actually people are very much, how to say, hungry in a sense, hungry for these stories about people who have these superhuman powers, because it's very much enjoyable. And actually, these companies who make these movies, they many times make them quite enjoyable, because they want people to purchase their products. So obviously the goal is that everyone likes these movies, and it's based on sort of scientific facts. They can actually make them in such a way that it would be very attractive, these movies, to the people. And I very much liked how Shubha Vilas Prabhu spoke about this, because many times we speak about these things like, oh, these are not really enjoyable, these are just trash and things like that. But something is attractive in them after all, because people watch them. On the other hand, the Prabhu also spoke about these pastimes of the Lord, Krishna, different incarnations of Krishna, and also the pastimes of his devotees. Like, for example, there are so amazing stories about Hanuman, and that these stories also have the same attributes like these, superhero movies, because they are very enjoyable to the senses. But on the other hand, they are also very educative. So we can learn from them, and we can learn higher knowledge from them. So they are both enjoyable and useful. They uplift all of those who read them, who watch them, because there are movies about these stories also. And this would be the goal, to be more likely engaged in these pastimes of the Lord and his associates, because these are not just enjoyable, but they uplift us. And I would like to share one video. It's okay. It's it's just a funny video, but it's 14 minutes. So I thought this much of Maya might fit in this class, because it very nicely illustrates one point which I like to mention here. I would like to also share the sound. Okay. So here it is. It will be very short, very fast. So please pay attention. Okay, so that was it. It's not a long video, as you can see, but for me, when I first saw this, immediately came to my mind that, oh my God, this is just like our lives, one after the other, you know. And if we watch these lives from the perspective of eternity, actually, one of these seconds, you know, when this man just rushed by, one life is just like this. And still, in our lives, we are so much attached to even smaller particles of this life. You know, like, if I get this chocolate cake now, or if I get this man as my future husband, this woman as my future wife, if I can get this iPhone, or I don't know what kind of phone, if I can get this car, if I can get this house, and so on, so on, so on. And you know, we just chase one enjoyment after the other. But actually, as we could see in this video, one life is just like this, in the perspective of eternity. So if we just chase what is comfortable, what is enjoyable, like, you know, this is, and not consider the spiritual content, what is beneficial for our soul, actually, then we just go downwards, on and on. So actually, we also have to look for spiritual things, and this leads to this topic. And there was one interesting story, actually not story, something which happened to me. My boss, once I talked to the girlfriend of my boss, and she asked me something very interesting. She asked what kind of people are interested in Krishna consciousness. And you know, I never even thought about this, because somehow, I don't know, it just didn't came up in my mind. But then I started to think that, oh yeah, there are so many different things which one can do in his or her life, which are mostly for one kind of person, one type of people. So, for example, there are these rocker people, you know, they are the wild type of the people who cannot really fit into society. There are these, I don't know, these ethnic dancer type of people. They are the more conservative type of people. And so many things are, you know, based on the certain type of conditioning. One type of people are attracted to certain things. But Krishna consciousness is not like this. Actually, Krishna consciousness is attractive to everyone. And then when this lady asked me this thing, then I realized it. What actually it means that, yeah, Krishna is all attractive. He can attract everyone, each and every person, each and every type of person. And it's not like, oh, only the Brahmanas can achieve Krishna, they can achieve liberation, or only the men can achieve liberation, they can reach Krishna, or only the sannyasis can reach Krishna. Because if we check it out, both men and women can reach Krishna. Both of the genders can reach him. there are different type of processes for them. That's true, but based on their conditionings. But Krishna consciousness is for everyone, and the processes are set in a way that if someone follows his or her own duties, then it can lead to Krishna. So based on genders, but also based on different varnas. So as we could read in this verse, there is a way how Shudras can connect to Krishna. They are not really attracted to high philosophy, and most likely women. Women are trained in a different way now, but according to the Vedic way, women didn't really go into such high philosophical studies like the men. So there was another way for women how they could connect to Krishna. So we can see in this verse that there were dramatists, artists, dancers, singers. So all of them could offer their capabilities, their talents, their facilities, and also others could connect to Krishna by watching them, listening to them, watching their I don't know, statues, paintings, or stuff like that. And others could also connect to Krishna in this way. And it wasn't just about, renunciation, it wasn't just about philosophy, about studies and these kind of things. So also in different kinds of ashrams, people can connect to Krishna. And, even in a certain type of varnas, certain type of ashrams, there are many people who have different interests. So do you like to cook? Then, okay, cook for Krishna. Do you like to play music or listen to music? Then participate in kirtans. Do you like this creative stuff? Then you can make jewelry for Krishna, or garlands for Krishna, or you can craft altars for Krishna. Do you like gardening? Then, okay, then just grow vegetables or flowers for Krishna. Do you like to I don't know, so many things. Do you like philosophy? Then study about Krishna. So there are so many different kind of things. For example, this is the time of the year when this is my yearly ritual that I have a big balcony, and I just grow radishes, and these are easy to grow. And my full balcony is full of radish, and I just grow them and then take them to the temple for Sri Dayani Vijay Gauranga here in the Budapest temple. And yeah, it's one time of the year but it's so nice to be a bit more connected to nature, to soil, and this is the way how I can do it. So it's just one small way of connecting to Krishna. And Krishna many times speaks about how many different ways we can connect to him. He speaks about this in Bhagavad Gita, and one verse which is connected to this is that even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? So this is a very, very deep verse, because it shows us that we shouldn't follow just one path, one thing is for everyone, and we should somehow push ourselves into this small tunnel. We don't really fit into it. We feel uncomfortable, but yeah, this is the way how we can reach Krishna. Somehow we should try this. Because yeah, we can do it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, maybe even years. But at some point, if we don't do something which is according to our nature, it will be difficult. Yeah, if someone is a pure devotee, he or she can do anything for Krishna, which pleases Krishna. But many of us are conditioned souls. So we have to take this into account. And also, there are these two verses in Bhagavad Gita, which is about the different duties of different type of people. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than others' duties perfectly. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. And there is one very similar verse to this. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. So Krishna speaks about the different natures a lot in Bhagavad Gita. So we really should consider our own nature and how we can connect this certain type of nature with Krishna. Because then we can think in long term. If we neglect it, then it will just work out on a short term, and it will lead to difficulties. And but as we could see, Krishna gives us the way how we can do it. So bhakti doesn't depend on anything material, not even our gender, not even our varna, our ashram, our interests, nothing. Actually, we can connect everything with Krishna. And there is this family spark type of approach, and this is how we should think. Actually, what am I interested in? How I can offer that to Krishna? Because I will do that enthusiastically. It doesn't mean that I don't do anything else, only which interests me. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything like that. But that works out the easiest way, and we should try to look for things which inspire us, because we are responsible for being always inspired in Krishna consciousness. And I just heard one nice example about this. Urmila Mataji spoke about it in one of her classes, that she spoke to someone who revealed that, I think it was a Mataji, but maybe not, I don't remember anyway. So the devotee just revealed that, it's so difficult for me somehow. I'm not really able to connect with Bhagavad Gita, and this philosophy is not so attractive to me. So it's difficult for me to read Srila Prabhupada's books. And then Urmila Mataji asked her, okay, but are you interested in any of these books? What kind of book interests you? And the devotee said that, Nectar of Devotion interests me. And then just read that. But this is so high knowledge. Shouldn't I read Bhagavad Gita first? But Urmila Mataji said, but if this is attractive for you, then you will sit down and you will start to read. But if you want to read something else, which is not so attractive to you, then you won't sit down so much to read. So the the principle is that whatever you like to do, you will more likely to do it than other things. So just do some effort to find what does inspire you. And if this book, then read this book. If that book, then read that book. So the main point is that we should connect everything with Krishna. And even if we don't have so many facilities in offering to Krishna, I just remember that there is a nice class, a nice part of Srila Prabhupada's classes, when he speaks about how can we make relationship, how can we serve the holy name. He says that the Hare Krishna mantra chanting means keeping Krishna always within your heart. It is not expensive at all. You haven't got to make a very exalted throne for Krishna. You can imagine that in my heart, I have placed now a very diamond throne, and Krishna is sitting. That is accepted. Even within the mind, you think that I have kept one diamond throne, very costly throne, because Krishna is coming. He will sit down here. That is not false. That is a fact. So you create such situation within your heart. Now Krishna has seated. Let me wash his feet with Ganges water, Yamuna water. Now I change his dress to a first-class costly garments. Then I decorate with ornaments. Then I give him for eating. You can simply think of this. This is meditation. Svantastena Gadabrita. It is so nice thing. Anywhere you can sit down and think that Krishna is sitting in your heart and you are receiving in so nice way. They are not false. They are also fact. It is so easy. So this is a very nice example that bhakti doesn't depend on anything material. So whatever we are enthusiastic about, just connect it with Krishna. And if we cannot offer in a tangible way, then just offer it in our minds, because this is actually one of the benefits of Kali Yuga, that whatever we desire to offer, it is accepted. So just use this chance which we got. Even in Hungary, there was a few years ago one Vanaprastha Mataji, Radha Kunda Mataji. She left her body, but at some point she had some kind of cancer. And, you know, she didn't have so much energy that she could have done so many things in a physical way. But at some point after her operation, she got a Radheshyam relief, and each day she worshipped Radheshyam in her mind. And there is a diary from her. And so many days we can read about I dress them in this kind of dress, that kind of dress. I offer this kind of food stuff, that kind of food stuff. Gave them this kind of jewelry, that kind of jewelry. So it's possible. It's open for all of us to worship Krishna like that. So bhakti doesn't depend on anything material. And this was the first aspect which I wanted to emphasize here, that Krishna consciousness is for everyone. And it doesn't depend on what kind of occupation we have, what kind of, if we are man, if we are woman, everybody can reach liberation, everybody can reach Krishna if we follow the duties which are for us. But there is another aspect which I wanted to emphasize today, and that is because here we can in this verse we can see that some people live their Krishna consciousness by seeing dramas or listening to music about Krishna, or watching someone dance about dancing Krishna's pastimes. So it's also possible to connect our free time, our recharging time with Krishna. And actually, it is not just possible; it is important to do it. And this is one of the main challenges in Krishna consciousness. I've spoken to many devotees who mentioned that, yeah, I do this kind of service, that kind of service. I try to chant my japa as best as I can. I attend to different kind of programs, but I don't know what to do with my free time. How can I connect it with Krishna? And, you know, even if we follow the process of Krishna consciousness, many times it's compared to a fan. You know, you turn off the fan, but it will move for even after that for some time. And during that time, there are our desires, there are our previous habits, which are still there. And we have to reprogram ourselves. And part of it is that somehow we act in a way like Krishna consciousness and our spiritual practices are like our work, our duties, something which we have to do. But there is the time when we recharge, we have free time, and we do whatever we like to do. And we are not so conscious about that time. And that's a problem because in that time, Maya can sneak into our lives. So many times I hear that, if you have some free time, just sit down and chant your japa or read something. But I don't know how you are with this, but many times we consider that this is tiring because we are still, most of us are still in a conditioned state. And it's not like it's work to focus. And that's the problem. That when we have to work and make effort for focus, then those type of activities won't be the things which we do in our free time. But we have to find the ways how we can also connect our free time with Krishna. And I remember once I've spoken to my counselor, my mentor here in Hungary, and she mentioned something very interesting. And she said that, we have to have some rest. And when we speak about this, we always think of the body, the gross physical body, because the body is, each day we have to go to sleep, and the next day we will also again have some energy. But what we don't speak about so much is that the mind also needs some rest. And when we sleep, the body gets some rest, but the mind doesn't. And the mind is also active even during that time. And she said that the mind gets some rest when it can connect to something nice, something tasty, something which is enjoyable. And we should find how to connect also the mind, how to have some rest also for the mind, because it also needs it. It also gets tired. Maybe you also experienced when the mind is just uncontrollable, because we are not able to control it because it gets fed up with everything. And if we don't take this into consideration, then we will have some problem after some time. It's maybe we think that we are on a higher level than we actually are, and we just try to be strict and suppress our mind. But when we lie about, actually, in this case, we lie about our position, our current situation to ourselves, and this is the mode of ignorance. So we really have to pay attention. We really have to see where am I now, and if I lie to myself, then I won't see. What is it? What are the things in myself which I have to work on? Which are my faults? Which are my difficulties now? So if we lie to ourselves in these things, then it will come up after some time. Just like a volcano. It's sleeping for so much time. Sleeps and sleeps and sleeps, and at some point just comes out everything. So it's the same with us. And there was one daily drop from Guru Maharaj this year in January, and it said that some people try to artificially give up sense gratification or even sex life through various means of restrictions, but it will take its outlet in other different forms, such as anger, violence, or various types of frustrations that come. So one has to control that and dovetail that energy into the service of the Lord in the practice of Krishna consciousness. So Guru Maharaj here very nicely says that the main point is that whatever we have, whatever desires we have to connect that with Krishna. And again, I would like to quote Urmila Mataji. She has one class. Actually, it's a seminar called Inner View. And she did a very interesting test, I would say. So she asked the devotees to make two lists. One list containing the different kinds of spiritual practices, and the other list containing the material activities. And on the spiritual list, we could see things like chanting japa, participating kirtans, doing service, reading, associating with devotees, going to classes, and stuff like this. And on the other list, there are going to the school for the children, cooking, paying the bills, cleaning the house, and things like this. But Urmila Mataji emphasized that actually our goal is that each and every moment of the day, we should be in Krishna consciousness, which means that we have to spiritualize even the list which we consider material. So in the end, we should have just one list. So whatever we do, it can be spiritual. Actually, when we go to do some shopping, it can be a spiritual experience, but we just have to be in the certain consciousness for that. And we have to practice that so that we will have one list. And we spoke about the mode of ignorance, but there is also the mode of passion, which is illustrated here. That when we think that, okay, I can be Krishna consciousness 24 hours a day, if I all the time, 24 hours a day, chant and read and serve and worship the deities, and don't consider that I also have I need some recharge time, then is the mode of passion. But it doesn't mean that the recharge times should be separate from Krishna. So, the most important thing in all the Vedas is the message of the Vedas is that always remember Krishna and never forget him. And you can do so many things, so many things which are recharging and can be connected to Krishna. And just mentioning a few things. So I remember I once wrote to Guru Maharaj that, for such a long time, this was the first occasion that I went to do some hiking. But I had some bad feelings because I thought that, oh, this is so much Maya, and now I'm fallen that I went to do some hiking, and what should I do? Because it would be nice to do nice to go for some hiking again, but I don't want to fall down or something. And Guru Maharaj just wrote back and said that, okay, just go to do some hiking and chant during hiking. So the solution is most likely that simple in so many ways. And then I realized that, okay, I'm just making things more difficult than they are actually. So this is one thing, but also, we can go to do hiking together with devotees, and we can discuss topics which are spiritual, which are connected to Krishna. And many times just, associating with devotees, it's really recharging. It can be a nice free time program. But also, I am, for example, very much addicted to movies, and there are so many Krishna conscious movies. So I remember I found This, I think it was from Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He managed this. There is a series about Srila Prabhupada's life. Also, there is probably most of you know the Little Krishna series. And also, just lately, I found one series of Hanuman. It's very nice movie series. Actually, if I just share a link where you can, if you would like to download, you can. In the chat box, I put it. So there are two seasons, and the first one in the chat box is for the first season, and the second one is the second season. And yeah, if someone is attracted to music, then to kirtan or just sit in kirtan and participate in the crowd. If someone likes to do some creative stuff, you know, we can make these necklace of beads for the deities, or do some garlands, or so many things. As I mentioned previously, gardening is also a possibility. It's just important that we should find something which we like to do, and it's not so great effort. I mean, it's not tiring for us. For example, during the day, my job is you know, I need to do some focus. I have to use my brain. So for me, it's not recharging to do something which is tiring for the brain. But for me, something is recharging when I use my body. Or someone who all day does some physical work, for him or her, probably some kind of mental hobby is better. So we really have to be, how to say, we really have to look for ways which are recharging for us, and find some kind of hobby which we can rest, we can use for rest, but at the same time connect with Krishna. And that way, it's possible to connect more and more time of the day with Krishna. For me, it was very interesting. I really like to write essays, but somehow I'm not really good with you know, writing essays for some kind of newspaper or Krishna conscious, I don't know, BTG or something, because there are so many restrictions. But at some point I realized that, oh, okay, I will write essays about the holy name in different aspects. And after I started it wasn't such a long time ago, but I realized that wherever I go, I'm just looking for things which I can connect with the holy name, you know, as some kind of metaphor, or reminds me something, some kind of connection with the holy name. And it helps to feel more and more part of the day with Krishna consciousness, with the holy name, with the meditation on these things. And we should be intelligent. We should be mindful of how we can do it, how we can connect more and more time with Krishna. So, just summarizing these things, one aspect which I wanted to emphasize with this verse is that each and every one of us can connect to Krishna in some way. We just have to look for the way, how we can connect, what duties are for us. And the second point was that we should look for different ways how we can feel our free time, our recharge time with Krishna consciousness. And just one last example, that last weekend I was visiting my parents, and we went out to the gardens, and there was a big tray of small lavender flowers, which my father got, I don't know, half year ago. And, during winter, they didn't get so much care. So some of these lavender flowers were already dead. And with my mom, we just, took off the dry parts and just cleaned all these plants. And I just started to think that, there were something like 50 plants there, and some of them died and some of them didn't. And the circumstances were the same, actually. So it means that circumstances are one thing, but if we survive the harsh circumstances, it depends on how we react. And how we react these harsh circumstances depends on how we prepare for them. And these times when there are no harsh circumstances, these are the proper times to prepare ourselves for the difficulties. And each and every moment is a possibility to prepare for that. And the more we prepare, the more likely we will survive properly those difficulties. So these were the things which I thought of mentioning. And maybe if you have some kind of tips, hints, or realizations, how we can connect our free time, how we can recharge Krishna conscious in a Krishna conscious way, then please share with us, because I think this is something which is a very relevant topic for all of us. So thank you for your patience, your attention, and let's open up for discussion.
Thank you, Mataji. As usual, wonderful topic. Thank you so much. You covered a lot, many things, and definitely there is scope for discussion. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or any realizations and any tips, as Mataji asked for, so please share. Please ask your questions. Please turn on your cameras if possible. Mataji, I was thinking, I couldn't understand that fan example, which analogy which you were talking about. So is that regarding, can you elaborate it a little more on the topic, Mataji?
Yeah, so at some point in our life, we decide to start the process of Krishna consciousness. And it would be so nice that, I just surrender at this moment. And from now on, I don't have any material desires, any bad habits. I do everything 100%. I just want to serve the devotees, Krishna, serve Guru Maharaj, and nothing else. But most of us are not so lucky, I would say. So yeah, we can see examples for that, because there are very nice examples. Lately, I just read about the story of Katvanga Maharaj, who just heard that he would die in a moment, and he just surrendered, and that was it. He went back to Godhead. But most of us need some purifications, and during that time, we will be tortured by our desires, our mind, and these things are difficult. So it doesn't mean that it's hopeless, because actually when we surrender to Krishna, we turned off the fan. So if we do everything according to what our Guru Maharaj, the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada say, then the fan gets slower and slower and slower, and at some point it will stop. The same way we will have to deal with our material desires less and less, because they will be more subtle and subtle desires, and our heart will be more and more pure. So this is actually the analogy that we have to be patient, because sometimes we can think that, oh yeah, I still have these desires, then this process doesn't even work, at least not for me. But it doesn't mean that. It just means that it needs some time, and because there are millions and millions of material lives behind us, we cannot expect that it will just go on like this. So we have to wait till everything is purified, but we have to have faith that we will be purified. And with Krishna consciousness, it's such a strong process that it can happen in one life, and even not even all life. There was another analogy which I've heard from one devotee here in Hungary. He said that imagine that you are carrying big baggage like 2 tons, and you can feel that I cannot even move that, and you start to practice Krishna consciousness, and some time passes, and you still feel that, oh, I cannot carry that. But maybe you don't feel that it's not 2 tons now, it's just 1 ton now. But it's still so much that you don't feel the difference, although half of it is gone. And still some more time is needed when you can also feel the difference. Mm-hmm. And that can be the difficulty, that we have to have faith that it's cleaning. Krishna is working in our hearts. It's just so many things to be cleaned there, that it needs some time when we can also see the difference. Is it helpful now?
Yes, Mataji, yeah. And actually, the thing is, we want to have a faith on Krishna's words or Guru Maharaj's instructions like that. But sometimes our material desires or the circumstances around us may not let us surrender totally to that particular instruction or to that particular concept of the philosophy. So, or surrendering to Krishna. So, whatever it is. So, at that time, how Mataji, so we can leave everything and just follow the instruction of the Guru and have faith on that, and simply say that, okay, so everything will work out if I follow sincerely Guru Maharaj's instruction. That's how we should be. I'm little confused in that part, because I know, definitely we have faith that whatever Guru Maharaj says, if we follow, it will work, and it is for our benefit only. But the thing is that the other circumstances around us don't make us to surrender like that. So at that time, it's very difficult to make a choice or surrender to that particular instruction or to Guru Maharaj. So what should we do, Mataji?
One of the things I like in Krishna consciousness is that many things are not just a yes or no thing. So there are different levels on how we can do. So obviously the best choice to have faith, full faith, 100% faith in Guru Maharaj's words, and follow that. But unfortunately there is a but. Yeah. And many times we don't feel capable of following. And even in that case, there are possibilities. And the best possibility is to have faith, at least in Guru Maharaj, and reveal him that, Guru Maharaj, I'm sorry, I'm not able to follow this. If you could give me some adjustment. Because and actually he said that previously, that it's also possible if we feel that no way I can follow that instruction, then just go and ask for help, how we could adjust the instruction that I might be able to follow that. But yeah, there is another chance, and this is the worst, when we feel that, oh, okay, it's so difficult to reveal everything to Guru Maharaj. I just try to sneak away and let's don't speak about this anymore. And yeah, that's also the possibility, but that's the worst. Maybe even there are different levels between these. I just mentioned a few, but yeah, so better trust in Guru Maharaj. And even if we are not able to follow, even in that case, we can at least show that, yeah, I have faith in you, I trust in you, and I know that even if I cannot see why it's good what you say, I think it's good. It's just I feel too weak to follow it. Because there is a difference when I say that okay, Guru Maharaj, you are probably mistaken and you're not right, and I know it better. Or when I say that, yeah, I think you are right, I think you can see things which I cannot see, but I'm too weak and I'm too contaminated. These are different moods. Mm-hmm. And even if I add like, okay, I don't want to speak about this, I just like not really lying about this, but a little bit like that kind of mood that oh, if we don't speak about this, then this is no problem. I just try to cover it up somehow, and yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, if we don't speak about it, like it will be like a struggle inside us, and we don't reveal it, and still forcefully we are following that particular instruction or like that, and so it's not good for us, I think, for our sadhana. I think yeah. As you said, Mataji, yeah, write to Guru Maharaj or talk to him or about this. Yeah, good. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I took a lot of time. Silpesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Guru and Srila Prabhupada. I heard a different version of the fan analogy. It was told to me differently, so I don't know if you want to hear it, but
please share with us.
So basically, the spinning fan is all your lifetimes of karma. When you start Krishna consciousness, when you start chanting, you're basically unplugging the fan. But for a while, it's going to carry on spinning, but slowing down and down and down until, eventually your karma kind of, hopefully gets burnt out. But that's how it was explained to me.
Sorry, I didn't really catch the difference. So what was the difference between the two version of the?
It's just a different way of explaining it. It's your karma. Oh. So the spinning fan.
Oh, karma.
Your lifetimes of karma spinning around.
Yeah.
And then when you start.
I suppose these things go side by side. So yeah, but both are true. Thank you very much for adding.
But that's what I read before.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? So, Mataji, one more thing I want to ask you, like, so as you said, like in our free times, how to do Krishna conscious activities, or what are the tips you were asking? So usually the thing is chanting, reading, and after that listening to some lectures. After that, our mind gets a little bit saturated because we are conditioned souls, right? So, but whenever the free time comes, we don't think about doing any Krishna conscious activity. We'll think about talking to someone, or like going out, or do some shopping, or like that. But it's very hard, Mataji, especially for me. But most of the time I try to be Krishna conscious, but most of the sometimes when my mind is very tired, or too much things going on, so at that time it want to relax. The relaxation, we are looking into something else, not in the Krishna conscious activities. So how to keep constant reminders for ourselves, like Mataji, in those situations, Mataji? You
Yeah,
were
it's a
asking
good
me,
question.
but I'm asking you.
Good question, because I'm also not on that level that I would be on. I would like to be 24 hours Krishna consciousness. I like this verse because now I could meditate on this topic because I need it. I can just mention a few guidelines which I consider useful. One thing is that it's again not a 0% or 100% thing. So we have to practice in small things and then just gradually grow the time of which we can how to say, fill our free time with Krishna consciousness. One useful thing in it, I think, is devotees association, because I just remember when sometimes I go to do some shopping with my friend, devotee friend, then, you know, we see something on the shelves which remind us something connected to Krishna, like, I don't know, a ceramic cow or something. Then you know, it's just we start to speak about this, remind each other these things. Or during one shop to another, we can speak about our services or other things which are connected to Krishna. So devotees association is useful also in this regard. And another thing is that whenever we are with devotees, or actually with other people, that we consider free time. I mean, you know, which is relishable time, and we don't have to focus so much, because it's you know, when you read, then you have to focus on what is written. But when you are in a discussion with someone, it's not so much of a problem. Generally, sometimes it is when we are tired or when we are so much into ourselves, but generally it's not such a big problem. So it's easier to connect to people, and in this regard to devotees, than to like books or classes, because then, you know, all the time, each and every moment, we have to focus on what we read, what we hear. And just spending time with devotees is very useful in this thing. And yeah, just finding how, you know, for example, there was this example which I mentioned about this holy name diary, that when we have something which is interesting for us, and maybe I'm not doing it now. I'm not writing the diary when I go to do some shopping or when I'm on public transport. But if I'm really interested in how I will do it, then I can feel other times also with thinking on the ways of how to do it. For example, like, you know, when you are baking a cake for someone's birthday who you really, really like, then maybe you spend days on here and there thinking about, okay, how I will decorate it, what kind of color or taste it will have. And it's also a possibility that maybe if not, I'm not doing something right now, but right now I can think about how I will do it when I will do it. And yeah, maybe I'm now doing my exercises, but my mind is connected to something else. Yeah, I also had one example, but I was just too shy mentioning it because, for example, I need to have some exercises during the days, because when I have exercise, then even it changes what kind of things I would like to eat. And, you know, it helps to keep my health. But the only type of exercise which I can go on a long term is dance aerobic, which is, you know, not really the Krishna conscious type of thing. And I'm doing it at home with video which I downloaded from YouTube, and while I'm doing it, I'm just, my mind is always, I'm looking at the details. Oh my God, so sorry for doing it in front of you. And that's my remembering of Krishna during that time, because somehow I'm not able to do it any other way now. But my body is doing one thing, and my mind can do another thing. So many times I in my mind I'm thinking about my services, and yeah, my body is doing what it needs to do. But so one possibility is to separate the mind and the body, and if one of them cannot connect to Krishna, just connect the other. Actually, the mind is the more important of the two. So yeah, these are some tips which I can come up with right now, but I'm sure others who are more Krishna conscious than me have even better tips, and I think everybody can have some kind of good tips. So that's why I thought if anyone would like to share their ways of doing it, it might be useful for all of us. But it's a gradual process.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Revati Mataji, please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for the very nice class, very practical tips you have told. Mataji, just I would like to clarify with you again, like you have told about ignorance, passion, and goodness. Passion is like 24 hours a day, and you don't want to consider any recharge time. You are completely like engaged in reading and all that. So what is goodness, Mataji?
Passion is, I wouldn't say that, when someone 24 hours a day does these spiritual practices, it means that he or she is in passion. It's just, passion is when we are so much into the results and so much into our, how others see us. Many times it's also in it that I want to look like a good devotee. I want to feel like a good devotee, but this actually just supports our pride, and sometimes it's difficult to see the difference between real austerity and the fake austerity, and that's connected to passion. The mode of goodness is when we think in a long term, and I also have my services. I also have my chanting. I also have my reading, but I also manage to have sufficient recharge time to have some time, for example, to just be in the association of devotees, and many times it's our decision. Sometimes it's not, but many times it's our own decision how much responsibilities we take on. But most of the time we act like, oh, I have no choice. I just have to do everything. But many times we could delegate some things to others. Many times it's not even my responsibility. Many times I'm not so unreplaceable than I think I am, and these kind of things. So when I don't think that I have to do everything, otherwise it's not done, or I always have to do things. For example, many times the problem is that we think that oh, when I chant, nothing's happening. When I read, nothing's happening. Actually, the goal of Krishna consciousness is to serve, and I have to practically, actively have to do something. And that's the mode of passion. When I cannot see Krishna in these moments when I'm not active in a practical way.
So always thinking about yourself. Is that, Mataji, when you're engaging in devotional service, thinking about your progress?
Well, Not necessarily. For example, I know devotees who are thinking of the service. So it's not that I need this, because the goal is Krishna. Is just they neglect their body, how it will function on a long term. And you know, when we really consciousness, we want to engage everything in the most efficient way in Krishna's service. And like, you know, if you are cooking things, you take care of the pots and the knives, you know, properly using them, not to break them. And this is the same thing with our body. Our body is a facility in the service of Krishna. So if we break it, then we won't be able to serve Krishna as nicely as we could. So actually, this is the mode of goodness, that to be conscious of everything. For example, there are so many stories about Srila Prabhupada, how much he paid attention even to the slightest of details, and this is part of it. That in Krishna's service, one of the facilities is our own body, and we also take care of it. Like we take care of other devotees or other tools or anything.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, it's very important for me to understand these three modes. It's the same verse, Mataji, like it's covered all the details, like 1.11.
Yeah, you mean what was the topic of
the goodness, passion, and ignorance, like which you have explained? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it wasn't from this verse. It's actually, you know, I'm so much into this topic lately because I realized how much is there in our life everywhere. And I really like to be conscious about it, because sometimes it's easy to confuse some of these, and you know, sometimes we mistake spiritual for the mode of passion for spiritual and other things. Like sometimes we are in kirtan and you know, we are just shouting and totally lose control, and we are thinking that, oh, I'm so ecstatic. And actually it's just about if it's about Krishna's pleasure, then it's ecstatic. If it's about my pleasure and I enjoy, you know, hitting the mridanga like anything, then it's actually more likely rajas. And these kind of things that it's good to be conscious about these things, and I just like to search these modes of nature in everything around myself, because it helps me to be more conscious. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing those things. It's very helpful. Definitely, I would like to also be conscious.
But actually, you know, Krishna speaks about the modes of nature and the symptoms of the modes of nature in Bhagavad Gita. So it's easy to find it in every aspect of life. Which one is which? Yeah. So
thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for the discussion. Thank you. Any more questions or comments? Okay, Mataji, it's over the 1 hour mark, so we'll stop here. Thank you so much once again for your time and association. We look forward for your classes more, Mataji. Please do come online for all of us. Thank you everyone for participating in the discussion. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripasindhyavacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavebhyo. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada jai,
Jai.
Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Tomorrow Guru Maharaj will join and we can have his class tomorrow. Please join at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you, Mother. 1 p.m. UK time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.